Hello and welcome to the coronavirus update for the 2nd of October, where Donald Trump and his wife have both just tested positive for the coronavirus, as well as some of his top staffers like Hope Hicks. And since they've all been flying around in close contact with each other without wearing masks for an extended period of time, there is a reasonable chance that a significant fraction of his staff also have the coronavirus. So, what are the president's chances of survival? Well, if you come to the WHO, what you find is, even for people in his higher risk category, he's got about 5% chance in total of, as you get older and fatter, your risks of dying from this actually increase. So he's got about 5 to 10% chance of actually dying from this. So if we were to put this on a 20-sided dice, just to put these numbers into direct perspective, on a 1, he's kind of going to die. On a 2, it's sort of seriously ill / requiring a ventilator. Now, once you get on a ventilator, you're almost dead anyway. So it turns out once they put you on a ventilator, you've got a 50% chance of survival. Then you go probably in 3 through 5, you're looking at severe infection, where, it's kind of getting where Boris Johnson was, where you're laid up in bed and, you sit there just wondering whether, because if the virus gets on top of your immune system, then you're going to be dead by the end of the week, which kind of sucks. I mean, it's like that. And there's really nothing that can be done for you. Yeah, almost the best thing that you can do is put people on a ventilator, and by that time, you're almost dead anyway, right? So the number of people putting someone on a ventilator maybe changes the survival rate by a small amount, but overwhelmingly what determines whether you live or die here is the interaction between the virus and your immune system. So if you get a big infection of the virus, there's really absolutely nothing that can be done. Nothing. It's basically you're dead already. If you actually could get a readout of the type of immune system someone has and how big the infection is. But this does mean that, on a sort of 10 through 20, he walks away with really no symptoms at all. And what was it? 5 through 10, it's sort of mildish symptoms. And this is one of the big problems, is that you roll your dice, which I'll do in a second, and there is a exceptionally high chance that you come away with a 10 through 20, which means you can walk away and say, and the coronavirus wasn't so bad. The thing is that if you roll this dice 300 million times, say you would do for the entire of the United States, then you're looking at, well, I mean, even if it's a 1% fatality rate, you'd be looking at 3 million dead in America. So let's give the roll for the president. And, he walks away with no symptoms. And it's just like that. And you can quite happily see how this will be read by millions of people as, the coronavirus isn't so bad. And you could argue that it's not. It's only going to kill 1% of the population, and they're going to be mostly old. But when you look at it in terms of world population, that means that you're looking at death tolls significantly greater than World War II. And at that point, it's a moral question, how much effort are you willing to take to try and save these people? Now, to a degree, it's kind of too late. I mean, you only have to take a look at the world. Just look at all the red on it. This virus isn't going anywhere. If it had all been shut down as well as China and South Korea did it in the early days of the pandemic, a million people would be alive now. This is total deaths in the world. It's about 1 million people. However, What actually happened is the virus got out from China, and everyone else in the rest of the world, then sort of played it down, kicked their heels, didn't take it too seriously. And that led to wave number one, as this guy. But let's take the UK. And it took a long time. This, by the way, when this is exploding like this, by the time you get to this point, you're only about a month away from infecting the entire country. At this point, you really have to take sort of desperate steps to try and stop the spread. Otherwise, you're looking at 1 million dead by the end of the month. However, managed to curb it and got it down again. And there was a summer where lots of people sort of got very grumpy about, look, we made all that effort and no one died. To which the obvious response is, yes, that's because it's working. And, these attitudes have persisted, and you only have to take a look for coronavirus protests. And, these have been going on for months all over the world. And, there is a real problem here that if you're going to go out and protest about a contagious disease, it's not going to end well. And, all the time you're down here, and there were basically no people dying, and this sort of actually appears as a rational position. Why are we bothering with all these quarantine measures whilst no one's actually dying? And the answer is because if you don't do it, this is what's going to happen. And you only have to take a look at people who took it seriously. Like, let's go for South Korea. Because no one likes doing it with China. So let's do South Korea. And, they had their first spike and got on top of it, sharpish. Ticked away. They got a second wave and got on top of it sharpish. And the same is true of Australia, I think. Australia did very well. Where the hell's Australia? There's Australia. Oh, he's right next to it. Didn't see him there. Okay, excellent. So Australia, again, they did very well in shutting these things down really quite quickly. But this took quite draconian measures. And there were, you only had to look at the sort of conspiracy nutters like this. This is how it went across Europe. In Australia, they sort of turned up, and there was this video of some woman who was organising a protest on Facebook, and they turn up at her house and arrest her, and she says, "Oh, this is terrible. I'm a pregnant woman. How can you do this to me?" It's like, organising a protest in the middle of a pandemic. Anyway, so the practical upshot is, this is what taking it seriously looks like. And Europe is all out of control at the moment. All of it. So Spain, they do this thing where they don't report so well, but Spain is as bad as it's ever been. UK, France is as bad as it's ever been. Bear in mind that these are, correcting the numbers. So France is like, 5 times worse than it was. The UK is at an all-time high. And there's this thing that the deaths lag a bit here. So, you'll get people saying that, let's take a look at the UK. Why are we making such a big deal of this? We're only up at sort of, 60 deaths per day. Well, this is what it was like when it was bad. And like I was saying, from there, you only need another couple of weeks of exponential growth. And you're up at like 20,000 dying per day. Anyway. So if you take a look at a load of the comments, if you ever want to feel depressed about people who can't understand the concept of a contagious disease, just go through these videos or the comments on these videos, or just take a look at the comments below any video on the coronavirus. And you will see people arguing in all fairness that, or in all sincerity, that is only killing 70 people a day, whereas, the a leading cause of death, which is sort of cancer or something, kills 500 a day. Well, yeah, with an attitude like that, it's going to be the leading cause of death again. And this is the thing, cancer isn't contagious. You can't get the cancer rates to go up from 18 per day to 1,000 per day in a month. I know it's crazy, but yeah. So really, unless ironically, it's all down to the roll of a dice. If Trump gets seriously ill, then yeah, maybe this will change people's attitudes towards this. Although even at that, you only have to take a look at a lot of the responses to Trump getting sick, and you will get the array. People just seem to believe whatever they want to believe these days. So there are a load of people. Actually, I mean, there's some reasonable grounds for this, saying that he's a compulsive liar, which is true, and that therefore he's just lying to get out of the debates, or he's lying to get out of, so he can get better and show that he doesn't have any symptoms. I'm a little skeptical about that, but and on the flip side, I've not seen what the right wing press is doing about this, but I'm going to guess it'll be some conspiracy to poison Trump, I would guess, but in reality, it's just a roll of the dice. And much though I hate to give him a second roll of the dice, 9 mild symptoms. So, okay, so I gave him 2 rolls of the dice, and he was fine in both of them. So, that's where we're at the moment. Let's keep our fingers crossed that people start taking this a little more seriously. Okay, thanks for watching. Ciao.